And the first thing is about really appreciating what you've done and really acknowledging yourself. I think oftentimes people don't celebrate what they've actually done.
Settling is one of the biggest mistakes we make. How can we get rid of this is as good as it gets mentality, once and for all?
I completely agree. This is one of the things that I come across most is women, we naturally have a tendency to get everything done, to look at the brighter side of life, to make lemonade out of the lemons that we're given. And then we look at that and we say, wow, I did a lot of work. I did a really, really good job. But the question is, how could you stretch yourself? You know, we deserve more than a good life. We deserve an amazing life. We deserve to be fantastic, to feel wonderful. So it's how can we stretch ourselves beyond just doing what we can with what we have. So a lot of times I like to tell people, you know, try not to compare yourself to where you've been, because chances are wherever you are in life, you've been through a lot of stuff. And when we compare ourselves to the prior version of ourselves, then we feel like, wow, we did all we can do. But challenge yourself to daydream. Don't worry about the how, don't worry about what needs to fall into place, just daydream like you did when you were a child.
See, I've seen a lot of the opposites though, where you talk about making lemonade out of lemons, where no matter how good we do, we're still judging ourselves, and we're so very critical that then leads us to settling, because we feel as though we just cannot compete. We can't be what we need to be. So even though we do the great job and we're successful at it, we still sit there thinking, this is not enough. What more can I do?
Do you think that's a problem? Because I find that there's a fine line between don't settle, but then also, you know, having expectations that maybe you're not grateful for what you have in your life, because you're always thinking, well, maybe I could have a little bit more, maybe I could have a little bit more. So is there this delicate balance between not settling, but then also striving for having what you deserve in your life?
I think there's actually 2 points that actually help people get there. They're 2 stepping stones, really. And the first thing is about really appreciating what you've done and really acknowledging yourself. I think oftentimes people don't celebrate what they've actually done. And so they're not settling, they're basically saying, I did what I could, I'll just go on. Instead of saying, wow, this is what I really did great, and this is what I want to do better. And if I did it the next time, identifying what would I do the next time, or what could I do now to take this to the next level. And the next level doesn't have to be like the summit of some mountain like Mount Everest. You know, it really is just what could I do that would just push it a little bit higher, a little bit further. And this happens in love and business. You know, like in love, if you basically say good morning, you know, how you doing? You know, it's like when we were kids, you know, mom put that love note in our lunch bag when we went to school.
My mom didn't put a love note in my lunch bag.
I was thinking the same thing.
I want your mom.
I actually love what all of you said so far, and I think you're right that we can be people who don't pay attention to what we have done and be critical no matter what, or we can choose to stay inside the game of learning and growing. You know, when we learned to drive, we learned that there were 2 white lines. We had a goal of where we want to end up, whether it's the grocery store or the city next door. And that we had a goal in mind, and then we were driving down and we paid attention to the white lines, because that helped us notice drift. When we either hit oncoming traffic or we end up in a ditch if we don't notice drift. And when we even think of the word settling, settlers got to a place and stayed. And so I think just the idea of being a settler is not something we want to live from, but the idea that we can appreciate where we are. So the white lines for me are gratitude and feeling good about the accomplishments I'm making right now. I have a constant practice of, you know what, at least I got up to bat. I might have swung out, but I was up to bat. And I use those 2 to help me stay on track with my goals and where I'm heading. And I do pay attention to appreciating the day, but not letting myself settle.
When it comes to settling, there are certain things in life that nobody should settle for. And those are the things that would create a life that is not authentic to you, that doesn't allow you to be yourself, to be in a relationship where you can, as Carolyn said, love the other person and love yourself as well. And that goes for work, and that goes for anything in your life. So really what you have to find out is what will allow me to be my authentic self, and what will allow me to live in the most lively way. You can't settle. because this life is about living to the fullest.